Who will start? Okay, can you hear me at home yet? No?
Yes, we can hear from you.
Oh, you can hear. Good, good. So we've got a lot of friends here. I just introduce you very briefly. So Kun Vivat from, who is American Thai, can I say? Kun Wani, สวัสดีค่ะ คุณกรณ์ คุณ Jonathan, Alberto, Tam, Kun Tang, and Kun Warasa, Kun Tu, Eve, Mai, Hung, myself, yes. I just forgot her name. Yeah, and a jump. Super song. Okay, so I think we'll start here. Does anyone in the room here have a, would you like to start with your question, Eve?
Tanajan, please. I would like to bring up the topic of wrong view. Of course, wrongness starts with wrong view. And in this falling apart world, it's just a brief moment, for example, where I base and Cheetah meet Rupa, and then everything falls apart. And I get the sense that the purpose of life is understanding, is just to live for understanding. Everything falls apart so quickly. But Tanajan, the self is there, seemingly all pervasive. I spoke with Sarah and she said at the moment of seeing, it isn't there. It's just seeing is occurring. But as far as the grosser, more obvious times for wrong view, but then it is much more subtle and deeper. And I wanted to, it's one of the pillars as far as I can experience, as far as Dhamma goes. It's one of the pillars, one of the foundations for bhavana. And there's the self, there's confusing nama with rupa. And I wanted, please, Tanajan, to have some teaching about right view and also wrong view, please.
What's the point of listening to the teachings or the word of the Buddha?
Understanding.
Understanding what? Not just understanding. That's why we have to understand whether what is heard is true or not. For example, understanding. What does it mean? It means that there is understanding, right?
different from no understanding or ignorance. What are they? Just to learn to understand the truth, which is right now understanding, right? From word to word, little by little, not to forget what is understanding. It's not just understanding nothing at all. When there is understanding, it understands what? Otherwise, we just talk about the word understanding, but what does it understand? Is there anything to be understood? See, is there anything to be understood? All questions can be carefully considered to understand. Even just one word, understanding, no understanding, ignorance, attachment. Even we don't use any word, you don't name it at all, it's there. For example, for sure, right now they're seeing. No need to say, I see or they're seeing. That is just thinking about that which is now seeing. But what is seeing itself is real. So what is the truth of it? We just learn to understand the truth of life. What are there in life? Every moment in life, what is it? That is understanding. Or is it not? So it's not just a word to talk about, but to understand the truth of what is there. There is seeing. What is seeing? Is it known? Or is there any understanding of it? And what is understanding? Otherwise, it's not just understanding anything at all. If we just take it for granted, seeing sees, that's all. Is it that true? Seeing sees. See, begin to consider little by little. So as we have talked yesterday about Dhamma, see, just one word is heard. Should there be no understanding, just ignore, seeing right now. It's not understood. It goes on. No attention, no understanding of seeing. So can that be, or can we say, that is the understanding of seeing? That's why when we listen to the words of the Buddha, it's not just to follow instantly without very carefully considering just what is there is real or not. This is the beginning. To understand what we are talking about, we don't talk about that which is not there now. And what is there now? Is it known as it is? As seeing is not that which is seen. Sound is not hearing. There is seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking in life from moment to moment. Who can stop the way it is yesterday, today, and tomorrow? Seeing again, hearing again, smelling again, tasting again, thinking again, that's all. At night, being fast asleep, nothing there. How come? The past is gone, never to arise again, never appear again, and tomorrow will be the same as right now. Seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking, and then all gone. at moment of being fast asleep. Is that true? And what is it? Just one different reality at a time. Seeing, it's not hearing, it's not thinking. So understanding is different from ignorance. And that is Dhammadara from the very beginning. So please consider what is Dhammadara.
Before I say more, one friend wondered, what is the point? Why do we have to learn a new word or study a new term? And the point of considering a word like Dhammadara is not just to collect terms and meanings and be a Pali expert, because this is of no value whatsoever. The point of considering a word we're not used to considering is for the sake of understanding more about the truth, about Dhamma now. So whatever we read, whatever we learn about is about Dhamma, which is not self, anatta. So we consider about different realities by using different words in order to understand more that there is just Dhamma, no self, no thing at all. So this relates to Eve's question. If there's no considering about different Dhammas, there can never be the letting go of the idea of atta. So it's not a matter of trying not to have wrong view or being concerned that there's so much wrong view, but understanding a little more about what is true now, what is seen now. It's just a Dhamma. It's not a table. It's not a person. The seeing now is just a Dhamma, a Nama Dhamma that experiences. So Dhamma, Dara means to retain or bear or hold the truth through the development of understanding. If there hasn't been the hearing about the truth, about different dhammas, and if there hasn't been wise considering, wise reflection, there cannot be the development of understanding about what life is at this very moment. So it's not I that has wrong view. It's not my wrong view that's so pervasive and different from Ajahns or the Buddhas. They are just different dhammas arising and falling away. So when I mentioned at moments of seeing and hearing, no wrong view, at moments of kindness or goodness, no wrong view, at moments of just ignorance or aversion, no wrong view, moments of attachment without any idea of the what is there, no wrong view. So the point of studying and considering about realities is to understand that even the ditthi, the wrong view, is just another dhamma that arises and falls away, doesn't belong to anyone at all. It's gone, it's unimportant. So there has to be the understanding and letting go even of that reality of ditthi. So Dhammadara means not just listening and considering, but the retaining of the understanding of the truth in order that understanding can develop on and on. So this is why the term is mentioned. But I don't know if Ajahn would like to elaborate on that, or Tu, maybe you have something to add.
ครับท่านอาจารย์ครับ so there will be no Dhammadara at all without understanding, because we, even if we are not talking or discuss the Dhamma, if with understanding there will be Dhammadara, that in the level of listening of pariyatti, everything that arises and falls away is Dhamma, is reality. But without the understanding of each reality that arises and falls away, there is no Dhammadhara. And in order to be Dhammadhara, there has to be understanding. And understanding comes from what? From listening, considering each word of Buddha until it's firm understanding. And therefore, never forget. No matter what reality that you have listened, you understand, and little by little, Dhammadhara is there, little by little.
And the very important point is it's not anyone who has Dhammadhara, it's not anyone who retains the Dhamma, it's not anyone who understands. So even this term is referring to Dhammas which fall away.
Because Dhammadhara is no one, it's just another reality.
Otherwise, like when we read a sutta, we think it's referring to this person who has memorized the teachings or who carries the truth or holds the understanding. But no, whatever we read about is about Dhammas, not Atta, not anyone.
And just to tag on, this pretty much goes without saying, but for development of Panya, with the view of eradication of defilements, the asavas, etc., for enlightenment, is the wrong way, is the wrong path. It's with self.
Whenever there is the idea of self, it is the wrong way. So we can hear about the word Dhammadhara and start thinking about the one who recalls and remembers the Dhamma, that hasn't lost the understanding even when it's not arising. But it can all be with the wrong idea of this person or that person or my understanding or someone carrying the Dhamma. So that's why Ditthi, as you mentioned, is so common even now. It can arise instantly. Someone who is understanding, someone who is listening. It's just a Dhamma. Whatever we read, whatever we hear about, is just about different namas and different rupas. And you mentioned that something about the self-confusing nama and rupa. This is why, as Ajahn mentioned, rather than being concerned about so much wrong view, there has to be the study, the listening, the considering, the development of understanding of different realities, those that experience, like seeing and hearing, kindness, right view, wrong view, and those that don't experience anything, what is seen right now, the hardness that is touched now, the sound that is heard now. Because without the understanding of different realities, the namas that it can experience an object and the rupas that cannot experience anything, for sure there will be the idea of I there all the time. I see, I hear something that is touched, something that is heard. So this is why we come back to asking what is now, what appears now, what can be understood now.
And it always comes back to what appears now. And I wanted to comment on your mention of wrong view as being one of the foundations for bhavana. And I know it's tempting to think that the akusala tendencies need to be the subject of some scrutiny or perhaps the object of understanding in order to eventually eradicate them. But that in fact is not the teaching, I think, of the Buddha, which could be summarized as what Ajahn said about just learning to understand the truth of life at the present moment. So life at the present moment is what appears, not what might be there. And we know that there's a lot of wrong view in one's daily life, but the question is, if it doesn't appear as such, it's not apparent, it's not going to be the object of understanding. But the fact is, I think that every moment of understanding of any reality, whether it's one of the mental tendencies or whether it's just sound, hardness, whatever, every moment of understanding of any reality helps to demonstrate, helps to bring about the realization that there is no self. But that realization comes a lot later. But the basis for the realization of no one there is that there are only Dhammas which have the characteristic of being impermanent, unsatisfactory, and not self. So without that knowledge, there can't be the eradication of wrong view.
Yes, I had actually said that right view is is a pillar of bhavanas, the development, because the obverse of that is that wrongness starts with wrong view, and to have right view without self striving for it, these moments are rare.
They're rare because they're conditioned, and they have not. One of the conditions for the arising of understanding or right view is the extent to which that tendency has been previously accumulated. And obviously in this day and age, there are not the beings of great understanding that there were at the time of the Buddha who were ready for enlightenment. But we all know for ourselves that the limitations and to what extent right understanding has been developed. So there is the acceptance that and the patience that is necessary in order not to get ahead of one's own understanding.
We had a brief discussion at lunchtime, which relates a little bit to your point, perhaps. Like when we're eating the delicious food, it's easy to start thinking, oh, so much attachment, or like you mentioned, so much wrong view, or so much annoyance or disturbance when one is with people who are difficult, for example. But is this any understanding, or behind it, is there the idea, I should have less attachment, or it would be so much better if I had less wrong view? So it's actually all about me again, or, oh, I wish I wasn't so disturbed by the people around. So just thinking about how much attachment there is, or how much wrong view, or how much ignorance, isn't the same as just understanding the attachment that arises now, the seeing that arises now, the wrong view that arises now. It's just a Dhamma. It appears and it's gone instantly. It's not of any significance or importance because it never belonged to me and it doesn't belong to me now. It's gone immediately. And this is why it is a joy to study and understand the Dhamma. When it's so much attachment, so much wrong view, then one feels sad or depressed about it because of the clinging to I. So whatever we hear about, it's about just Dhamma that's gone, not anything to do with me at all. But as you stressed, Eve, wrong understanding is so deeply rooted that it's there, and so much more to become apparent too. But that's a joy. Better to know, and it's gone.
So I'd like to thank you, Kun Sarah, for mentioning all those examples of why we have to be frustrated when someone said something bad or something like that, and it shouldn't have been like that because we study Dhamma a lot already, we should have more understanding, blah, blah, blah. But that is the very proof that's not Dhammadara there.
Moment, Dhamma is appearing, but it's not the Dhamma I would like. Yes. So the test is always at this moment, anytime. It doesn't matter whether it's ditthi or dosa or kindness or seeing or what is seen now. They're just Dhammas, each one gone. Mike, do you have anything more on your topic of why consider this term or word or aspect? Anything else? Because I think it's a good topic for many people.
Yes, because that was the first time I heard about the Dhammadara. So I heard, I know that at the moment of Dhammadara is also there's understanding, and it must be a kusala moment. So I just want to hear more about the different aspect about Dhammadara to understand more what is the different Dhammadara and understanding. Even it arises together, but it must be different. Or the reason why in that case Buddha used this word, but in the Buddha impressed the other word. Example like that. I just want to understand more about that word. Thank you.
Have you forgotten understanding?
All the time.
All the time. That's why it's not Dhammadara.
Yeah.
So begin to understand what is meant by Dhammadara. Only one reality like seeing. Is it forgotten? It's a reality. It's there now. See, and that's the meaning of Dhammadara. Only one word, like Dhamma. What is it? How much it's there, not forgotten. See, that's why the one who see the value or of the understanding, that person know where to go, to listen with understanding. That's why get closer to hear, just to hear, or to listen, to understand the truth. That's why among all conditioned realities arising and falling away, Panya or right understanding is the most precious. Because how long no understanding at all about what is there appearing from birth to death, on and on in life, years and years ago, and there can be moment of understanding. So what is meant by understanding? Understanding the truth of what is there as it is. And if this word understanding hasn't been forgotten, there can be the understanding of whatever is there as a reality, a Dhamma. That is the beginning to understand what we are hearing, what we are considering, what we are learning to understand. So understanding is just a reality, beginning to have confidence of just one word, reality. Do we have to look for it somewhere? It's right now. So what is meant by Dhammadara? See, if there is the understanding later by later, that each moment it's not trying to experience Nibbana or the Four Noble Truths at all, but just to understand that which is there now appearing, how subtle it is. It's there in life, in one's life, all life, years and years ago, even right now, not known, opposite of understanding. And this is a moment of to be interested in understanding the truth of what is there, which hasn't been understood before at all. And that is Dhammadhara from the very beginning. What is heard, what is real is now appearing. Otherwise, can it be real? Or can there, whatever is there be understood? But now it's there, beginning to understand it's so true. It's a reality. It's there before anyone can think about it. For example, seeing, it's there. No one thought about it, but it's there. Dhamma, what is real from the very beginning. So each word which has been studied carefully, understanding little by little, gradually, is moment of Dhammadhara, to consider it again and again and again. And that is the moment of the development of understanding the truth, the path leading to realize the truth. Without Dhammadhara, impossible. It's all forgotten. We talk about many things, but is it a Dhamma? And what Dhamma is it? We heard many words like Nama Dhamma, Rupa Dhamma. Anyone can understand the meaning of it. That which arises and experience the object is different from that which arises but cannot experience the object. Dhammadhara, see, never forget, or beginning to understand it gradually so it will not be forgotten at all. See, that's why little by little Dhammadhara has to be there. Because there must be Dhamma, the understanding of Dhamma, beginning to be established until it's firm enough. No change at all, never change. That which arises and experiences is now, anytime, different ones. And the reality which arises but cannot experience any object is there now too, not anyone. Dhammadhara, each word, each level of understanding, and it leads to more and more understanding until there can be a moment of realization of the truth because of Dhammadhara.
The moment of panya, of understanding, there are no words, there are no thoughts, no concepts, just the pure panya there, just that cetasika, the citta, the experience of that, the cetasika accompanying the citta. So, no words, no thoughts, but panya knows.
But the truth is so very subtle, beyond anyone can imagine at all. For example, right now, one would say, what is seen is visible object. Dhammadhara. See?
So, Ajahn, it's like not forgetting the truth that has been understood.
Hasn't been forgotten, it's there, never changed at all. From the word Dhamma, understanding, or Nama or Rupa,
And slowly getting firmer and firmer.
right now. And the moment of not forget about what is there right now, it's not citta. See, learn a little more to have understanding, so firm, Dhammadhara, on and on and on and on, as parami too. Parami Yes, please, Kun Jonathan, Barami.
Sorry, Ajahn, what's your question? What kind of is understanding Panya Parami? You were asking.
Parami, only Parami at the very beginning.
Earlier, you were asking. You wanted to know if it's understanding and what arises together with it, but it's just understanding at that moment. So it's another term for the understanding. There are many, many ways that understanding is described in the teachings or by the Buddha, just as he uses many ways of describing dhammas generally as aggregates and dhatus and so on.
Like we use the word the Satcha Parami is also mean about the different aspect of Panya, right?
Ajahn said, you have to start with what is parami. Yes. So, like, you can't, what is parami? You cannot just say, oh, it's panya parami or satcha parami, because maybe they don't understand what parami is. So, what is parami?
You know what parami is, but they are wholesome mental factors accompanied by panya, obviously, because it's special kind of wholesomeness. It's not just dana or patience as we know it or as it's referred to in the Dhamma, but it's when it arises in the course of the development of understanding, then it's considered a parami. But I don't think it matters whether we call it a parami or we call it patience, mental factor. To me, the thinking of the paramis is like another way of thinking that these things have to be specially developed, but they don't. They just develop as and when they arise in the course of the development of understanding. So it doesn't matter to what extent the paramis have been developed or which one is more developed than the other. That's all as it is, naturally.
So I check it up, the term Dhammadhara, and it's mentioned in one of the Dhammapada verse 134. And maybe you can read it in English. 134.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those, just wondering what section it was in, but anyway, those skilled in the foundations of mindfulness, satipatthana kusala, delighting in the enlightenment factors, the bojjhangas, with knowledge of Dhamma and keen insight, vipassana dhammadhara, knowledge of Dhamma and keen insight, vipassana dhammadhara. And the final line is, live in the city of Dhamma, Dhamma nagare vasantite. Anyway, it seems that vipassana dhammadhara is translated here as with knowledge of Dhamma and keen insight. Thanks, Dhamma.
Expressions Ajahn mentioned in Thai, the listening, the considering, and the Dhammadhara, it seems like it's a sequence, and here it suggests it's the retaining or the understanding that's not forgotten at the moments of vipassana. But as Ajahn was stressing, it has to develop from the start. So it's like if there is just listening but forgotten, no retaining of anything that is heard, it's not true listening. And if the considering is just for some moments, but then afterwards one's thinking of nonsense as usual with completely other ideas, then it's all forgotten. So the Dhammadhara has to develop from the beginning in order to be vipassana Dhammadhara. There cannot be vipassana out of the blue, or like one friend mentioned in a discussion, there cannot just be bhavana at moments of insight without the development of understanding and retaining and wise reflecting and firm confidence in the truth. It can never develop to that degree.
Yes, agree. And I also found some other translation of the term, and it's a Dhamma sustainer is one, and the other one is one who has a good hold of the Dhamma. So it's all point to the same.
Dara, the holding, the bearing,
Yes.
as in Dharati, bearing the characteristic, holding, yes. But we can use any words, but what about the understanding? What about the confidence and remembering what is the truth now, or just forgetting it? Like when we're enjoying the lunch, is it Dhammadhara or just all forgotten, as usual?
Right, has many levels. So now we're talking without Thanajan asking the questions. By accumulation, we're always thinking as atta, not anatta, or even think of Dhamma. So, but the level of Dhammadhara of Arya, Arya Sotapanna, is like so different, so big difference. So Dhammadhara is just the word, but it's just to hold, bear, or whatever you use the word. But it's just the understanding that it's reality, not self. Little by little.
And as I discussed with one friend, so at stage of Sotapanna, when no more ditthi ever again, there's never any inclination for an instant to think with wrong understanding, because the truth has been held that no one there, the wrong view has been eradicated. But before that, at moments of vipassana, there is the holding, right? At moments of satipatthana, the direct understanding, the holding of the truth at that level. And even when it's just pariyatti understanding, more firm confidence as it develops on and on. Otherwise, it could never be satipatthana, it could never be vipassana, it could never be enlightenment. So even a verse like the Dhammapada, the Dhammapada one can be completely misunderstood. Anything we read can be misunderstood. That's why there has to be the consideration, the reflection, the questioning. Yes, please go ahead, Kun Tan.
Hi, Miss Saran, everyone. Hello. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm really new here, and hope that everyone be patient with me. So I have joined with this group like on and off, and to me like I try to find the purpose in my life, and I know that you said there is no self, and like I have a lot of questions in my mind as a normal person, that like why I was born, and after that die, like what is a so I'm just like normal person, not study deeply, and I'm just zero about knowing Buddha knowledge. So I try to find the purpose for my life, and I learn the Buddha in different way, and I heard about the reality, a lot of things like reality, about the moment, about the consequence. Like when we're talking about the Buddha, we're talking about the cause, the consequence, something like that. So, what is the truth about study the pathway of Buddha, that he discovered that different from other religion? I'm so sorry to be and to ask a simple question.
It's actually, your question is very good and very clear and helpful for everyone, so no need to apologize at all. So thank you, Tan. So we've been talking a little bit about the purpose, the true purpose, and what differentiates the Buddha's teachings from all other teachings is the teaching about Dhamma, that there are just different realities, those realities which experience an object, the seeing, the hearing, the thinking, liking, disliking, and those realities that don't experience anything, such as the sound, the hardness, touched, what is seen now, all pointing to how, in truth, no I, no other person, no table here. So we think, what is my purpose in life, or what are my problems in life, or why was I born, or why was I die? This is all thinking about the imaginary I. But where is this I? Can you point to the I now? Can the I be seen now? Can an I be heard now? Can Sarah be heard now? Can Hung be heard now? Or what is heard now?
Yeah, there's nobody.
So what is heard now?
It's, there's a lot of like condition, like you need object, you need ear to listen.
This is thinking about the story about, but what is actually heard at this moment?
Sounds.
Just sound.
Yeah.
So we think it's the voice of my voice that is heard, or Jan's voice that is heard, or the story about Dhammadhara that is heard. But actually at this moment, it's just sound that is heard. Not someone that is heard, not a voice that is heard, not a story that is heard, just sound. And this is at this very moment, here and now.
Yeah.
No one there, nothing there, just sound that is heard. Can you hear the sound?
Yes.
So what is the you that can hear the sound?
My thinking.
My thinking.
So
It's
yeah.
my thinking that I can hear,
Yes.
but actually what hears at this moment? It's just sound that is heard. What hears? Is there an I or a you that hears?
No.
So what hears at this moment?
I don't know. Sorry, you always mention about like hearing is hearing, it's just a hearing.
Yes.
Seeing is just a seeing.
Yes.
But always there are thinking behind of that. Like when I see you, I will make a judgment, like, oh, the way you wear it, the way you dress it. So
Because
everything
of
is
thinking about it, because of memory and thinking. So at this moment of hearing the sound, as you said, as we discussed, I think, in Sydney, it's just the hearing which hears. But afterwards, thinking about the story, oh, Sarah is speaking and I'm hearing it and I'm making a judgment. So we live in the world of thinking about the seeing, thinking about the hearing, thinking about what is heard, thinking about what is seen, because no understanding of dharmas as not self, as anatta. So this is the heart of the Buddha's teaching, that life at this moment is just Dhamma that appears, arising and gone. The sound that was heard a moment ago, gone. The sound now gone. The hearing now gone. Whatever arises is gone instantly. No one to be found. Just an idea that is thought about again and again. This is hung and this is the blouse she's wearing and this is Ajahn and so on. So these are the different stories about what has been seen, what has been heard. So this is why the emphasis is on understanding, to get closer and closer to understand the truth of what is real now, not what is thought about and imagined as usual, but what is true now. Usually we think of the purpose of life as having a good job and managing our family affairs and living harmoniously with those around us, but actually no understanding at all about the truth now. Letting go the idea that there is someone here, someone there.
So it seems like you outside your body, like there is something like somebody out, like to look like overlook.
Another idea.
Because if you don't see yourself,
Yes.
that means like somebody will just look at the, like you watch the movie or something, like, and you just watch
And the
it.
truth is, no one to watch the movie either. Because the clinging, as Eve said at the beginning, the clinging to the idea of I and the other is so very deeply rooted that even when we hear or begin to consider that it's just seeing now which sees, just thinking which thinks, and then there is like a panic, oh, well, there must be I that's watching the show somewhere else. But actually, where is that I? Is it seen? Is it heard? Or just thought about? So this is the point to consider. And the only way there can be the right understanding is beginning to understand what is true now, like what is touched now. Is it a table that is touched now?
It's just a hardness.
It's just hardness.
Yeah.
And what touches the hardness? Is it I or you, or what touches the hardness?
Just a touch. So
Just touching.
Touching.
And then so quickly the idea of something that is touched, someone that touches, this is the thinking about it because of memory.
yes.
Memory. There's remembrance that this is, we call it a table and this is a packet of tissues. So there's thinking about table and tissues, but actually what is touched? Hardness, softness, warmth, coolness, nothing there at all.
So difficult.
Yes,
Difficult.
yes.
So difficult.
Sometimes in the beginning, people say, oh, that's so obvious, I know all that, but that is not understanding. So appreciating that it's difficult and deep is the beginning to consider wisely about it.
Thank you, Sarah.
I wanted to come back to your original problem that you would like an answer to, and that is, why was I born? Now, when you say why was I born, it can mean one of two things. It can mean for what purpose was I born, or it can mean by what cause was I born. So I'm just interested to know which, when you think about why was I born, are you thinking in terms of my purpose of being here, or how come I'm being born here, for example? Both. And so why is this a problem for you?
Because like it is problem because I don't know that like why I do that. I need a question mark. It's just a question mark in my mind that I ask like some friend and they don't care about that, but I do care. But I don't know why I do care about that.
And where will you find the answer to this question, do you think? Where lies the answer to this question?
I heard about just be consciousness, be aware of the moment you are. It is that means you live totally. And I heard that like I born because the maybe it's a consequence that in the past I do something and now I have to reborn to pay the debt, something like that, maybe, or to learn something.
Yeah. So how will one ever know what the true answer is? How can anyone know the answer to this question?
I believe in Buddha, so maybe he can answer for me.
So we come back to the question of what is it that can be known? I mean, we can ask all sorts of questions, but if they are speculative, then there's never going to be the certainty of an answer.
Yeah.
So what can be known for sure?
The reality.
What is appearing now, right? When you say the reality,
That means like
we have to be referring to something that is appearing right now. Otherwise, again, it's just thinking about something that's not present. So you asked what distinguishes the teaching of the Buddha from other religions. And one way of considering that is that it concerns itself with what appears now and can be directly known. It's not about the story of why something happened or what's going to happen in the future or believing something to be true. Because the Buddha didn't ask his listeners to believe what he said about things. He explained the way things are at the present moment so that it could be verified, each person according to their degree of understanding. So you could say that the only thing that can really be known is what is appearing now, but the extent to which it can be known, of course, will vary depending on the level of understanding that has been accumulated.
I am a little bit confused about like you say, seeing is seeing, hearing is hearing, but you have to verify. So that means like you have to think.
You don't have to verify. Nothing has to be done.
Oh.
But you don't have to believe anything that hasn't been verified. Because there's no... so if someone says that this is the cause of rebirth or something like that, when it doesn't have to be embraced as a belief, but gradually as the understanding of what appears now is developed, then the relationship between different realities becomes more apparent. But getting back to your question about seeing an invisible object, if it's said that the reality which sees is different from the reality which is seen, is that something that can be verified? The reality which hears is different from the reality which is heard. Right, okay. So earlier you said, Sarah asked you what was heard and you said sound. And then she asked you what knows or what experiences sound. And the answer is what we call hearing. Right? And so my question a minute ago was, is hearing different from sound? Yes. So that much can be verified. So that's what we're talking about. That's what the Buddha spent his life teaching, what is real at the present moment and can be verified depending on the level of one's understanding. So we don't study the Buddha's teaching just to learn his ideas and accept them, but we study the Buddha's teaching because he explained what can be known directly by the individual, what is not dependent on belief.
Thank you, John.
Is this Sarah?
In my knowledge, she's not.
Is
No.
this Jonathan?
No.
Is this Han?
No.
Why not?
Because my experience, like before that I know this is Han.
Not you know, but the question is whether is this Sarah?
No,
This is not Jonathan?
no,
Why not?
because they
And
just
why this is Sarah?
because they just an object, like just a material.
That is thinking just about many words. But why not? This is Sarah. This is not Jonathan. This is not Han. Dhammadara. Understanding what Dhamma is as it is, which is so very deep, so very subtle. Even now, it seems like there is Kun Sarah, there's Kun Jonathan, there's Kun Han. But in truth, is it this? Why not Sarah? That is Sarah. Why? The same at moment of seeing is seen no matter what shape and form is there. But the ultimate truth, it is seen when there is seeing. Dhamma. Seeing is real. What is seen is real. Are they different? Both are real. And what is real is Dhamma. So many realities, that's why we use just the word Dhamma, forever is real. Dhammadara, whatever is real is a reality. different one at a time. So what is Dhamma?
Dharma is the reality, you say.
For example,
For example, uh, it, like your body, you have 5 senses.
no. That's the story of
That's
your
different.
body. So what is body? This is not Sarah. And what is body? Is this body?
No.
Can you see body?
If in
We are talking about the truth because the truth is so very subtle. Even it's there now appearing, no understanding of the truth of it. Is it true? When we learn what is true and what is not true, so we can say that this is not true. Why not? So deep that only understanding can get closer to the truth, which is so very deep and dark. Is that true? Study what is there in life, which is real, is studying of Dhamma, the truth of what is real in life, each moment, as Dhamma.
We mentioned, Ajahn asked you what is a Dhamma now. We mentioned some Dhammas earlier. Sound. Sound is real. And hearing, which experiences sound, is real. Right?
yes,
And they can be directly known because they appear. Right? And hardness is real when it's experienced. When there is, you are holding a microphone right now, so where the body sense contacts the microphone, that's the experience of hardness. Right? Well, it's not, it's contact, experiencing through the body, which we can call touching, but not all experiencing through the body is touching, because we can feel the heat or cold from the air through the body sense, and that's another experiencing, but it's not what we would call touching, right? But microphone is not real in the same sense as that, because we need to know, we need to have learnt about what a microphone is in order to identify it. Microphone is not directly experienced in the same way that hardness is directly experienced. Is that right? It can only be known it's a microphone by thinking about what has been seen and heard, not by direct experience. Even table is only known by thinking about what has been seen.
definite define. That is a table. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can do this one same thing, but you can make it like a chair or something.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Just
Yeah.
the same.
Right, so this is the difference between what is real, and we would call them dhammas, and what is a concept, which is thought about.
Yes.
And so when Ajahn was asking you, why isn't the microphone Sarah, for example, memory, because we have marked the visible object
Yes.
in different ways.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay. Yeah.
But both the microphone and Sarah are not dhammas in the same sense that sound and hardness and hearing and thinking Dhammas.
I should consider yeah, for that. Thank you, Jonathan.
Is this hard? Is this hard? Why not?
Hard.
Hard, H-A-R-D.
Yes.
Really?
It's
Is this hard?
yes. It's hard.
It's seen. It's not touched.
When I touch, I can feel
No,
it's
no,
hard.
I don't talk about anyone. I just ask you, whether is this hard?
Through my experience, it is hard.
By memory,
My
right?
memory.
That's
yeah.
why
But not by experience.
Yeah, my memory.
begin to understand what we think. It's no understanding at all about what is there. We think that it's hard, but in truth, at the moment of seeing, is it hard? Begin to be truthful, begin to be true to a moment of a reality which cannot be mixed up at all. One moment at a time. So again, is this hard?
No.
Only thinking, not understanding clearly, right?
Yes.
Is this sweet?
No.
Is this inside the flesh? Is it sweet?
If the coconut water, it will be sweet.
That's the idea again.
Idea again, yeah.
So it's not truthful to the moment of seeing. When you see this, when it seems like someone is pointing, no matter you take what is there as the events or something, but in truth, the absolute, the ultimate truth, so very deep, learn to understand why what appears cannot be understood at all, in truth, until hearing about what is there little by little, and consider to understand it. But before consider, there must be hearing and understand what's meant by truth, the truth, and what is meant by understanding. Not just take everything so very easy, that it's as a thing, but in truth, no understanding of anything at all. Like this is not Sarah. Why not? What can it be in truth? This and this and this and this and this.
What I learned,
No, not you learn, but now
no, it's true.
consider the truth. Is it real?
Real, yes.
Okay. What is it? So you say that it's real.
Because I see it.
See how deep it is. There can never be the understanding of truth if right understanding does not develop little by little from hearing. Not forget, today, not just in this room, anywhere, anywhere, what is there? Is it someone or something? Oh, what is it? So that there can be the understanding. What is that cannot be taken for anything or I or someone at all. no one, no thing, anatta. So all dhammas are anatta. Just learn one word at a time.
ท่านอาจารย์ it's so difficult because you are born like you go to school and you learn these things like
Where that
definition.
you are born.
Yeah. And now it changes like to see the truth like it totally.
And you asked what is the Buddha's teaching? We're learning about the truth. So what is seen is just what is visible, just the visible object. And is it I that sees what is visible? Or what sees? So where is this I that can see? Is the I in here?
It is a condition of everything. You need the object to see. You need the eye.
What sees? What sees?
Object.
No, the object is seen. What sees? The sound is heard, and the hearing hears the sound, not I hear. What is seen is what is visible. Anywhere, just what is visible. What sees what is visible?
I don't know, Sarah.
Homework to consider. What sees? Consider whether an I can be found anywhere except just by thinking. I'm not talking about this I, I'm talking about I, me, this person. Can I see anything?
No.
Can this I see anything?
No.
So what sees?
I don't know.
So we've heard a lot about dhammas. So we know it has to be a dhamma because it has to be a reality. So we have to consider what is the dhamma that sees. Because I cannot be a dhamma. A table cannot be a dhamma. Hung cannot be a dhamma. So what is the dhamma that sees, that experiences what is visible?
You mean the reality?
Yes.
It.
Yes, the reality of seeing. So just the seeing itself, the moment of seeing consciousness experiences what is seen, not I see. So we have to hear and consider and reflect again and again and again, because the idea that I see and something is seen is so deeply held and studied all through school and countless lifetimes. So there can be the beginning of considering what is truth, what is reality at this moment.
Thank you, Sarah.
I just wanted to ask Gon, do you have anything you would like to ask Gon? Anything? Yes. Okay. Can you follow what we've been discussing, Gon?
Yes, I can follow, and I do, I do understand.
Okay.
Yeah, and let's go back there from the first start. That Ajahn said, listening. That is mean, if we focus in the listening every day, I think gonna be a little bit more understand as well. Even just a little bit, even short time, you will know you because of listening. That's how I listen from now. Thank you.
true listening is the listening with understanding, because someone may turn on the YouTube or the recording and listen all day, but all forgotten, no Dhammadara, no value, nothing retained, just like turn over the pot and let all the water go out. So it depends on the understanding at moments of listening, no matter whether one is busy with one's work or in the kitchen, whether one has the recording turned on or off, there can be listening and reflecting anytime. I think it's a subtle point, because sometimes people just think listening means how many hours they listen to a Ajahn or another teacher speaking, but this is not the meaning of listening.
Yeah.
Listening is the moment of understanding.
Understand as well. Yes.
Reading or hearing the truth. Like one can read a short verse
Yeah.
with right understanding. This is right listening. Or one can read all the verses with the idea of I doing, I seeing, I hearing, no listening.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
And we only have a few minutes left. Some people at home, like Anne, have been up in the middle of the night and a lot of listening carefully, and I'm sure on Azita. Would anyone at home like to ask anything, especially Anne, who's been up during the night, or Azita, or anyone? We can't hear you, Anne. Can you unmute, Anne?
Okay. No, I don't have anything to ask right now, but it's sorry, it is late and I'm in listening mode.
Gabby, did you want to say anything? We just saw you turn on your picture. Or Azita, you have a picture too.
I have a question if nobody else does. And it's Azita here. Hello, everybody. I've heard Achan spoke, I don't know what day it was, but there's a comment I've written down. Thinking about the past, what's the use? But surely there's some use in the past, because it's in the past that we've heard some of the Buddha's teachings. So some of the past I think is useful. Probably most of the past is not. But then again, it's good to remember what we've learned of the Buddha's teachings, but also knowing that actions that we've performed are probably not useful. So could you explain what you meant by it, Ajahn, please?
Please say it again.
Okay. Well, I heard you say a while ago, thinking about the past, what's the use? Can you explain what you meant?
Is it real at that moment? Thinking, is it real?
Is the thinking real?
Yeah.
Yes, very much so.
Can it be known?
Only if there's well-developed panya it can be known, but
And anyone try not to think?
can you say that again, please, Ajahn?
Because you see that what is there is conditioned. Otherwise, it cannot arise to be there at all. Dhammadara. So no matter it's thinking or seeing or hearing or liking, disliking, all are conditioned already. So it's there one by one appearing, right? So if you think that thinking is useless, you try not to think. So how can be the understanding of thinking as it's no one at all and it's different from seeing, hearing, smelling? So whatever is there, Dhammadara, is there by conditions. No one can make it arise at all. And it has to be the moment of understanding, the thinking, not the story which takes one away all the time.
Okay, yes,
So far.
right, yes. Yes, it's the thinking, not the content of the thinking.
So
That makes
is there
sense.
now thinking?
Yes.
See, is it known as it's not seeing?
No, they're all mixed up because they move so quickly.
That's
See,
why Dhammadara,
yeah,
understand it firmly, that nothing can be changed at all, depending on conditions. If in life, daily life, there's no understanding of thinking yet, how can there be the eradication of the moment of thinking? And what things, see, the reality which experiences the object, is it known as not I who think? That's
well,
why our
not
dhammas
mm,
are so very deep. If there's the idea that it's not useful, see, it conditions what? Attachment again to something as try not to think. How can there be the understanding at that moment of trying or thinking as it is one reality at a time? And the understanding of the subtlety of all kinds of Dhamma is the only way to let go, that no one at all, anatta, have firm confidence more and more about anatta, that no one there at all. And if it's not known, I is still there. So is thinking useful?
oh, that's a good question. Well, sometimes it is useful. Like I mentioned before, if we're hearing about hearing the Buddha's words and understanding, and then thinking about what we have heard, then surely that thinking is useful.
What is taken for I, no matter what is there, is it right? Is it true? Is it I?
Well,
So
I
how
think
much?
in my case, it's always I.
That's why beginning to understand what it's meant by Dhammadara, any moment, hasn't been forgotten about the truth. No one at all.
What is the world at that moment when there is thinking about it's useful to remember what I heard in the discussion yesterday? What is the world at this very moment when thinking like this?
Well, there's no knowledge of now, is there? Because you're just thinking about something in the past.
So the thinking is the world at that moment. So
Oh, yeah, right.
understanding can only understand the thinking, no matter whether it's what I heard in the discussion yesterday or what I'm going to have for lunch or what so-and-so said yesterday, it's just the thinking is the world at this moment. So the
Right.
purpose of the Buddha's teachings is to understand the world at this very moment.
Right.
And that's confidence that it's the understanding of the world here and now that is important, no matter what is thought about. But the world is right now.
Right. Thank you.
I think it's we're going to finish the
Okay.
Zoom discussion. So tomorrow we have all day. So hope to see you tomorrow.
Yes, certainly. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Everybody, Sarah, John, and thanks for staying up.
Nice to see you. Nice to see everyone.
I came in late. We had a ceremony this morning.
Oh,
Thank you.
You're
Thank
great,
you,
Betty.
everybody.
Ciao,
Bye.
everyone. See you tomorrow.